Hello everyone, this is Aparna Bhat and welcome to my YouTube channel Abhijna Legal Maps. So today we are going to conduct a session regarding rent laws. So especially every state act has its own rent law, that is Karnataka has its Karnataka Rent Act, Tamil Nadu has Tamil Nadu Rent Act, or each and every state like Kerala has its own rent act. So in such circumstance, so this is only particular to Karnataka Rent Act, but if any other state students are watching this video, please do not skip this video because I want to tell you some important fact about how you are going to learn, how you are going to understand the different grounds of eviction. It could be of any state, be it Tamil Nadu, Kerala or Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat or any state. But one thing is for sure, some grounds could be different, but majority of the grounds will be the same, and also there is a pattern in making a particular kind of different types of grounds. So we have to prepare a chart. Okay, so Karnataka Rent Act says that we have section 27, which is there for grounds of eviction. Okay, so this is the part of 48 days challenge. So today was the 7th day challenge, today's topic, and in the upcoming days I will be also have done 6 challenges already regarding constitution, CPC or different laws in 6 days videos, in 6 videos so far. In the upcoming days also I will be continuing the same. So even if other students are watching this video, do not miss because you can find. So this is a method of making a chart, and see in Karnataka Rent Act. So there are 19 grounds for eviction. So what do you mean? Landlord, if any particular rent act is applicable for a particular tenancy, landlord cannot just randomly evict the tenant out of his premises. He has to file a suit for eviction, and out of those grounds, only the grounds which have been given under your particular laws, only under such grounds a tenant can be evicted, right? So in Karnataka we have 19 grounds for evicting a tenant by a landlord, where landlord has to file a suit for eviction. So which are those grounds? So it is contained in section 27 subsection 2. Section 27 subsection 2 provides that, and if we understand if you one by one. So the first ground is arrears of rent. So if any rent is pending for 2 months, then that is the ground, and even if payment, if order is made for eviction and if the tenant pays the rent within 1 month of the order, then he need not be evicted. Okay. So the first ground says that if there is arrears of rent for 2 months, then he can be evicted. Then the second ground is if the tenant has sublet, assigned or he has parted with the possession then without the consent of the landlord, then that is the ground for eviction. Third ground is if the tenant is using the premises for a different purpose for which it was let out, and even without the landlord's consent he is misusing the premises, then that is the ground for eviction. And the fourth ground says for a period of 6 months, if the tenant or family member is not occupying the property, or for the period of 2 years if the tenant is not residing without reasonable cause. So he is not in the occupation of that premises at all, then what is the use of letting out, right? So under that ground he can be evicted. And you can see from 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, from 5th to 9th ground we can see that landlord requires the premises for building, for repairing, for reconstructing, rebuilding. So he requires the possession of the property, that is why the tenant has to be vacated. But under what reason he will be evicted? It could be, see here, if the building is unfit or unsafe, then the landlord requires it for repairing, he can evict the tenant. Or if the government has ordered the demolition order, or any government scheme is there, development scheme, for that building work has to be taken place, for that tenant can be evicted. Or if any repairs has to be carried out, or under 8th ground if a building needs addition or any alteration or any building or rebuilding has to be done, even for that that is a ground for eviction. And the 9th ground is if there is a demolition if a demolition is required, not on the government's order, but there is a 2-floor building and the landlord requires it for reconstruction, rebuilding, and for that he has to demolish the building. For that he wants the tenant to be vacated and to reconstruct. Even for that, that is a ground for eviction. And the 10th ground is if the tenant or his family member has acquired a separate property, separate possession of a particular property or commercial premises, then he may not be like necessarily he may not require the present premises where he is under tenancy, right. So, under that ground also he can ask for eviction. And the 11th ground is if the tenant employment has ceased. See, many times landlord will let the property because of the tenancy, right. So, when the tenancy is because of the employment, when the employment itself ceases, then even the tenancy also ceases. That is why that is a ground for eviction. And the 12th ground is if the tenant has caused a substantial damage to the property, and it is the substantial damage can be defined as it is up to like 6 months of rent, okay, then the landlord can file a eviction petition on this ground. And the 13th ground is if there is a conviction of a tenant and the conviction is because of the tenant causing public nuisance or tenant using the property for illegal or immoral purposes, under those ground he can be evicted. And 14th ground is while letting out the tenant, while giving on a lease, the government has prescribed certain conditions, but the tenant is not complying with that condition, then what will that amount to? Contrary to conditions he is working. That is why 14th ground we can find. And the 15th ground is if the landlord is denying the ownership of the landlord. So, that is a basic of any tenancy. Tenant has to accept the ownership of the landlord. If that itself is being denied, then there is no purpose of continuing with the tenancy, right. So, that is why this is a ground for eviction. And then comes 16th ground. If the tenant has failed to prove that he was not a bona fide tenant, then we can say that that is that is a ground for eviction. And 17th ground is if the tenant has the landlord and the tenant have agreed that tenant would vacate the premises on a particular date. So, there is a fixed date for vacating the premises and this person has not vacated the property, then what will happen? On that ground tenant can be evicted. And the 18th ground, it is very important, the landlord is requiring the property for his own requirement. He may be requiring or his dependent family member is requiring the property and he is having no other suitable accommodation. In such a case landlord can file the eviction on this ground. And the last ground is if the landlord is the trustee of a public charitable trust and he wants to let out the property to a trust. In such case also he can ask the tenant to vacate on this ground, right. So, these are the 19 grounds which have been prescribed in the Karnataka Rent Act, okay. But if you are studying different rent law, make a chart like this under different sub provision, because see here this is 27(2)(a), 27(2)(b), 27(2)(c), 27(2)(d), 27(2)(e). So, up to 27(2)(s) we find all these grounds. So, this is the way of writing or preparing a chart and to memorize them, to recollect them, because it will be helpful for a revision in the later part during examination time, during revision time, this is very helpful. Okay. So, if you are interested in these kind of charts, do subscribe to this Abhijna Legal Maps, because this YouTube channel is specially dedicated in simplifying, visualizing and legalizing the complex legal topics into a very simplified form, and through this chart techniques, through legal maps we are delivering the lectures. And also do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and also share it among your family and friends. Those whoever is appearing for Tamil Nadu, Kerala or Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana or any state, if you are able to follow English lectures, then this is the right place, right channel for you with respect to judiciary exams. This is what I say. And also we have Abhijna Law Series app. You can find it in Google Play Store. There you can download this app and you can browse through various courses So if you presently the lectures are in Kannada, but we have books, we have different study materials which will be launched very soon. You can also purchase them through this website, and also you can also browse through www.abhijnalegal.in. So this is also another website where you can check our courses and purchase our books, study materials. The first book would be relating to Code of Civil Procedure quick notes with reference with respect to all state judiciary examinations. So that is one of the best probable book which I can say. So this is all about our rent law. Tomorrow I will be meeting with you. I will meeting you with another new concept in a new video. Until then, do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe this video, and also bye bye, take care, namaste.